On the 23rd of May 1965, a huge fire broke out in these tunnels.
Come on guys, quick. William, can you speak to us, please? Oh, that was a little boy's voice.
That was a child's voice.
That was a boy's voice.
Is there anybody here, perhaps who was brought in as a wounded prisoner, movement from further down?
I heard that from here. William, is that you?
What was it, Mark?
Someone pulled the bottom of my coat.
Did you just pull Mark's coat?
Yes, sir. Living poison. Manufactured record. Yes, sir. Go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. It's like a light is in my face, but I can't fall for you. I close my eyes and drift away. I've overdosed on you. Cause then you wake up dead one day.
Finnis Hill, also better known as the Champagne Caves and the Oil Mill Caves. The tunnels, located behind a quarried chalk face, are early 19th century in origin and were built by Napoleonic prisoners of war. They would have been built to provide storage and were linked to other sections of the tunnels. Within the main tunnels, steps lead down to a bricked-up entrance to the Harbour Railway Tunnel, beyond which a platform is believed to exist. The access passage was reportedly built during the Second World War to allow casualties to be discreetly brought up from the ships arriving from the continent. It was also used as a public air raid shelter during the war, and reuse was planned in the early 1950s in the event of war with the Soviet Union. At one time, Finnis Hill was a main non-maritime industry. It got its name from the chalk hewn from the cliffs that was burnt to make quicklime. It was the lime makers who originally created the caves that were used for smuggling. The caves were also used as a military barracks in 1936 for the 30th Training Reserve Battalion of the 7th Brigade. Lieutenant Commander Stanley W. Coxon states, "Behind the oil mill barracks, there exist caves of enormous size, perhaps a quarter of a mile long and 15 feet wide, capable of sheltering as many as 10,000 people. Many children spent the night sleeping in the caves even though they were cold. On the night of 30th of October 1941, William Ben, nearly 5 years old, died from carbon monoxide poisoning from a coal fire in the bucket inside the caves to keep him and his siblings warm. William was the son of lorry driver Mr. Reginald James Ben from number 2 The Cottages. They had moved there after being bombed out of their home several weeks before. Mr. and Mrs. Ben had their 4 children use the caves each night as a shelter from the air raids. There was a wooden partition across the cave, which making sleeping accommodation around 7 feet wide by 7 feet high by 18 feet long, accessed by a door in the partition. The children had been put to bed at 8:15 after the stove had been warming the cave for an hour. A coal fire in a bucket was placed just inside the door for extra warmth. This was found inside the cave by P.C. Hogben, who attended the incident with the ambulance at 11:40. Artificial respiration continued in the ambulance and at the hospital after William arrived at 11:50 with additional oxygen, but the doctor eventually stated that William had been dead for 2 to 3 hours. A blood test showed that he had inhaled fumes in high concentration. The coroner at the inquest returned a verdict of misadventure and extended his very deep sympathy to the parents. William was buried on the 4th of November 1941. From the end of 1944, when the Germans had been driven from France, the Finnis Hill became one of 3 transit camps in town. Dealing with well over 4 million troops, they then ceased to be used for this purpose in August 1947. 2 years later, a clothing manufacturing firm opened in the barracks and it was renamed Commercial Buildings. The complex, over the next few years, housed a number of diverse industries, from a foreign mailing sorting office to makers of fur fabrics. On the night of the 23rd of May 1965, the watchman on duty saw smoke and called the fire brigade. Within 17 minutes of the call, over half of the buildings and caves were engulfed in fumes and flames, and the night watchman was trapped on the 2nd floor. To gain access, the fire brigade had to force their way through. By 5 o'clock in the morning, the whole of the main building was alight, and 50 firemen were pumping hundreds of gallons of water every minute onto the flames, shooting 60 feet into the air. The closure of the adjacent railway line was ordered. It remained closed for several days, and it took 40 hours to bring the blaze under control. The cause of the fire was never ascertained. On entering the cave system, the location is huge, taking on the appearance of a cathedral. Its ceilings in some parts reach 100 feet high. We commence a walkthrough, as Mark has never been to this location, and it has been 10 years since Phil and I were here on a previous investigation. We walk the entire area, checking every tunnel and every part of the cave system, making sure everything is secure. We also set up our static cams as we make our way through the vast tunnel sections, covering as much of the location as possible. And as we finish, we are all taken by surprise as a REM pod that we have placed in the next section goes into alarm as it picks up a change within the electromagnetic field and then completely drains of power. Come on guys, quick. The REM pod's dead. That was a new battery. It's completely died. It's drained the energy from the battery of the REM pod. It's dead. With something already letting itself known by draining the power to our REM pod, we change the battery and replace it back in the same area. Okay, this is the oil mill caves. We've just set up our static cams. Now, this place is meant to have a child here that died in October 1941 when this was being used as an air raid shelter because there was army barracks linked onto these caves just outside here. Now, as I said, we just set up our cams, and the REM pod that we've put down there is constantly going off. Also, in these caves is meant to be the apparition of the Watchman. Back in the 60s, there was a huge fire here, and the fire brigade tried to rescue the Watchman, but he died, and it's said that he's still seen here within the tunnels. Now that I'm standing here in front of that device, can you make it go off again, please?
Right. We've come today to the oil mills. And I'd like to ask if there are any soldiers which were based here during either the First World War or the Second World War to come and join us. Now, I understand that these caves we're in had various purposes during the war. They were used for bringing wounded soldiers discreetly off of the beach and through the barracks which were in front of these caves. Is there anybody here, perhaps who was brought in as a wounded prisoner, that maybe didn't make it, that is with me now? Come and introduce yourself. Now, it's documented that a Lieutenant Commander Stanley was in charge of this place. Did you report to the Lieutenant Commander? Now, I've been here before. When I was here before, we had communication with yourselves. Now, you won't remember my name. My name is Phil. Come and join me. Come and stand with me. You're probably wondering what we're doing here. We want to find out what it was like at the time when the barracks were in front of these caves. Is that something you can help me with? Come through. Seems to be some noises coming from down there. So if we walk down here a little bit. What's your name, rank and number, soldier? Movement from further down.
I heard that from here.
Walk towards me.
A high-pitched sound is heard coming from within the caves, followed by loud banging sounds. Here is the enhanced audio taken from Phil's digital recorder.
Movement from further down.
I heard that from here.
Movement from further down.
I heard that from here.
What was it, Mark?
Someone pulled the bottom of my coat.
Ah, sorry, say again.
Something pulled the bottom of my coat really hard. Like that.
Who?
Walk into it. I haven't got snagged up or anything.
No, there's nothing here. It's an open space. Did you just pull Mark's coat? Do it to me.
Mark feels his coat being pulled, and when Phil asks, "Did you just pull Mark's coat?" a woman's voice responds by saying, "Shouldn't come bother us." Here is the audio enhanced.
Did you just pull Mark's coat? Do it to me. Did you just pull Mark's coat? Do it to me. Why was this place built quite like this? I mean, it's vaulted, it's almost church-like, it's so high. And it's unusual. Normally the places we go in, the ceilings are quite low. When this place was used for air raids, as an air raid shelter, did each person have their own space? Each family have their own little area which they sectioned off? definitely seems to be noises coming from down there, doesn't there?
Yeah, Phil,
Yeah.
I keep hearing someone walking up and down further on down the tunnel. That's why I keep looking down there. There's something moving.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What is that? Did you hear that? A disembodied voice is heard coming from within the cave system, saying, giving them a message, which we all hear. Then, another voice, which we cannot decipher. I keep hearing someone walking up and down further on down the tunnel. That's why I keep looking down there. There's something moving.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What is that? Did you hear that? I keep hearing someone walking up and down further on down the tunnel. That's why I keep looking down there. There's something moving.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What is that? Did you hear that? We head on through the caves towards the voices that we are hearing, where Mark will try to contact the spirit of the night watchman who died in the fire on the 23rd of May 1965.
Phil's already introduced me, but let me introduce myself again. My name's Mark. On the 23rd of May 1965, a huge fire broke out in these tunnels, and the night watchman was trapped. I'm not sure the name of the watchman, but could you tell me your name, please? Now, the watchman died as a result of the fire after. What were these caves being used for at the time of the fire? Do any of the spirits know that reside here what started the fire that night? Was it the night watchman with his stove keeping himself warm, or was something else set alight by accident? Could you let me know, please, what started the fire?
No evidence was captured during Mark's EVP session, so we went on to another area and set up some of our equipment to try and get the spirits to communicate further. Right, so we got the motion sensors over there on the floor. We got 4 little balls that are running across there in a line that if they're touched in any way they will light up. We've got the REM pod, sensitive digital recorder, K2 with audio, and also we've got a bear there that's lit up in red that picks up on any static energy. That will turn green if anything touches it. So, if you can hear my voice, can I ask you to light up one of these devices that's here? Can you do something? Whoa. Thank you. Can you do something else for me, please? Light up another one of these balls. Can you touch one? Try and move one? If you do, it will light up again. Is the little boy here? Thank you. Is that you, William? William, James, Ben? William? You were here with the rest of your family, the rest of your brothers and sisters, your mum and dad, and they brought you here in 1941 because there was bombing outside. And you came in here when it was a shelter, but to keep you warm, your father had a bucket and he put some coal in it to make a fire. But you died of carbon monoxide. Your father didn't realise. You was 4 years old, in fact nearly 5, 4 years and 10 months old. If you can hear me, can you shout out so I can hear you? There's a teddy over here, William. You can touch that as well. Or any of the other devices here, they won't harm you. I guess you must miss your brothers and sisters and mum and dad. It wasn't your dad's fault, he didn't realise, he was just trying to keep you warm, because it was very cold.
With communication established with William Ben, the young boy who lost his life by accident within these caves on the 31st of October 1941, we fire up the SB7 spirit box to see if William can come through the white noise and talk with us.
Any of the spirits here, if you can use this device in my hand, come through on the white noise and speak to us, please. Firstly, can you tell me your name? William, can you speak to us, please? Oh, that was a little boy's voice.
That was a child's voice.
That was a boy's voice.
William makes contact and comes through the white noise by saying hi.
William, can you speak to us, please? Oh, that was a little boy's voice.
That was a child's voice.
That was a boy's voice. William, can you speak to us, please? Oh, that was a little boy's voice.
That was a child's voice.
That was a boy's voice. William, is that you? Oh, shit. I tell you,
I've got it cold, real bad.
I'm absolutely freezing at the moment. I am absolutely freezing, Phil.
Again, William comes through the spirit box as my whole body turns cold and responds to my question by saying, "We are here." Then, a woman also comes through saying, "We're here above you."
William, is that you? Oh, shit. I tell you, I've
got it cold, real bad.
I'm absolutely freezing at the moment. I am absolutely freezing, Phil. William, is that you? Oh, shit. I tell you, I've got
it cold, real bad.
I'm absolutely freezing at the moment. I am absolutely freezing, Phil.
With the sun starting to rise, we prepare for the final part of the investigation and try to make further contact with the young boy, William Ben.
So, William, when you was here earlier communicating with us, you was making those balls light up, you was touching them, you have to touch them to make them light up. Can you do that again for us now, please? To let me know that you're here. Or maybe touch any of the other devices that's here to let us know that you're listening to my voice. I have something here for you, William, and it's something that was engraved on your stone, and it's from your family. Fondest memories of our darling Jimmy, William James Ben, taken suddenly, October the 30th, 1941, aged 5 years. Dearly loved and sadly missed by his mummy, daddy, sister and brothers. Do you remember your family? Is there anything that we can do for you before we go? Are you safe here? Is this your home now? Are you back with us? Well, at least I know that you're listening and that you can hear me. It's getting very noisy outside now. It's early morning. The traffic's building up. And we'll have to go shortly. Thank you. Well, we have to go now. And we'll leave you in peace. But if there is a message on any of our audio devices, maybe if you want us to come back or help you or something you need us to do, then we will come back. Thank you. William, if you are here, which I believe you are, thank you for letting yourself known. And we'll come back if you need us to. So we're going to pack away our devices and equipment and our cameras. And we hope that you're safe and that you're happy here.
When reviewing all of our audio, we received no EVPs, so we can only assume that the spirits that reside here are happy and safe.